I got to ask you. Let's talk about. You worked at Amazon in Staten Island, which is, for people who don't know New York, it's part of New York. It's one of the 5 boroughs. There is a center there. It's a warehouse. Is that correct?
Yeah, fulfillment center. Yep.
Okay.
One of the largest ones.
So what did you do? Working at Amazon, how long did you work there, and what were your duties?
Yeah, I've been with the company since 2015. I started off actually making $12.75 when I got hired back then. I was a regular warehouse associate. I worked my tail off for about 7 months, and I was promoted up to a process assistant, which is more of the lower level management, still hourly associate, but it's a supervisor for AKA terms. And I was responsible for the outbound pick department, which is the department that picks the customer orders before they be packed out and shipped out.
Okay.
I opened up 3 buildings for this company. I started off in New Jersey. I transferred to Connecticut for some time, over a year there. And then I transferred to Staten Island when it opened up over 2 years ago.
What is the vibe like in the company? I mean, is there accountability? Can a worker go to its, whoever their leader is, their boss, and file complaints? Do they listen to the workers?
It depends on who you work with. That's how I look at it. Every building was different for me, had different experiences, but it's really the people above you that make the job either better or worse. And it could be a tough position to be in as an employee there. I tell people how it is. I don't sugarcoat nothing. That's why people used to love working for me and working under me, because I wasn't typical. I wasn't the typical manager that go by the book. We there for long hours, for multiple days. I try to make your job as easy as possible. That was my motive, and I continue to do that still. Just not as an employee anymore.
Yeah. So let's talk about what happened. You were fired from Amazon. Why?
For speaking up the truth, speaking truth to power. I raised my health and safety concerns beginning of March. I noticed my employees, my colleagues around me were becoming sick, and a domino effect. They were fatigued, they were dizzy. Some of them were even vomiting at their workstations. Some of them had flu-like symptoms. We were still business as usual. We were having parties in the middle of March with DJs, popcorn machine. I was watching the news every night. I don't know what everybody else was doing, but what I was watching was scary. And the way we operate, I knew we were at risk. And I tried to get everybody quarantined before we even had any confirmed cases. I wanted to be proactive instead of reactive. Because we didn't have any cases at the time. I mean, not to our knowledge. They pretty much swept me under the rug. That forced me to take further action. So behind the scenes, I started sending out emails to the CDC, the health department, the state of New York. I did everything I could in my power. I didn't get no response because New York is the epicenter. Yeah. So when I returned back to work on March 24th, my colleague, the supervisor, she was sick. Her eyes were bloodshot red. She was fatigued. She was sluggish. She told me she went for testing the night before. And we all know you don't get the test unless you are showing severe symptoms. So the policies allow for her to come back to work because you're not quarantined officially until they receive physical documentation, which can take days or weeks. I told her she should go home like immediately. And then she's my friend, so she did. 2 hours later, we learned about our first positive case in our managers meeting that we have every day. And that's when they told me not to tell the employees. We don't want to cause a panic. We don't.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're going to the individuals on that side of the building where the associate was last working. Didn't make any sense to me because we don't know how long he had it. We don't know where he got it from. And plus, on top of that, we had the Queens, New York facility that had one case. They closed down. They sent everybody home with pay. Everybody returned back the next day. I was expecting Staten Island to do the same thing. That didn't happen. So that day was my last time working for Amazon. When I went home that day, I started sending out emails again, this time to the media, because I wanted the media to know what's going on. Once again, I didn't get any response. So I had to go back to work. but I didn't go back to the building to work. Actually, I went back to sit in the cafeteria for 8 hours a day.
Oh, we lost you
Sorry.
for a second. There you go.
Yeah, people's calling me. For 8 hours a day, I sat in the cafeteria, off the clock on my own free will, telling the employees the truth that they possibly been exposed to somebody who tested positive. I did that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, March 28th is the day they quarantined me. Only me, by the way. They didn't quarantine none of the employees that were around my colleague who I sent home. But 10 hours a day, multiple days in a row. They didn't even quarantine the person that I ride to work with every single day. So that tells you right there that, I had a target on my back.
So quarantine was essentially a way for them to pull you away from organizing, your coworkers and informing the media about what was happening on the ground. That was their excuse.
Pretty much, they wanted to cut off the head of the snake. I guess I was kind of being a pest, which I didn't care. I was being a pest to them, coming into the general manager's office every single day with groups of 10, voicing our concerns. But I was doing anything and everything until the building was closed down. And I think that was just their way of just silencing me.
How did your coworkers respond?
They were upset. They're still upset to this day. I still talk to them on a daily basis. They're supportive. And a lot of them haven't been to work ever since. A lot of them haven't been paid for over a month up until present day.
Wow.
So this is what we're going through. This is the position that the richest man in the world have these people in. I have friends that had to sleep in their cars for a number of days because they've been sick. They got 3 kids at home. They got a wife at home, and they don't want to infect them. They don't want to infect their coworkers. So it's a sad situation, and this is the reason why we're mobilizing, and I continue to fight every single day.
So the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, has backed you up in calling out Amazon for its treatment of workers. How did that happen, and what is she doing as Attorney General?
Well, yeah, Letitia James, and along with a lot of different politicians, have been backing me up and sending demand letters to them. Okay. It's been very uplifting and empowering for these prominent people to do that for me, along with my legal team. So we're fighting tooth and nail, hand in hand, until this company do the right thing and possibly reinstate me. But we're still to be determined on that. But yeah, I'm very grateful for everybody that's been speaking up on my behalf.
So now you're organizing this Amazon strike. What does that mean? Is it local? Is it national? How is this coming about?
It's actually national, but it's more so international. I've been speaking to employees and organizations and unions from all over the world, in several different countries: Germany, France, Italy, Spain. I actually just got off the phone with India as well. So it's amazing how much smaller the world is now. I never thought I would be speaking to people in different countries, but here I am. And I'm just trying to, I already formed the alliance. I've been orchestrating conference calls every week, multiple times a week. We all have one common goal right now, and that's just to protect our communities, protect our families, and be protected while we're at work. That's all we're asking for. And I don't think it's that too much to ask. I think these companies, these billionaires, have more than enough money to take care of everybody's needs and demands.
Especially right now. I mean, they're running out of supplies. Amazon is what everybody's going to, and Jeff Bezos has indicated that even,
right,
stock choices. It's been reported that he had this private meeting with his, advisors or senior team, and they talked about you. What have you learned from that?
Well, we learned the truth. We learned who these people are. We learned what type of conversation they have. It's very distasteful and shameful that they think of, minorities like that. If you look at it, this phrase that they use, that lingers in the Black and brown community. And that right there, I'm kind of actually, in a sense, I'm thankful that the fact that the truth came out about the type of people Jeff Bezos have around him.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that. It will never be Amazon versus Chris Smalls. It's going to be Amazon versus the people. They have to answer to all of us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Has there been any legal action taken against him or Amazon?
Yeah, legal actions are in effect right now. The courts have been closed, so we couldn't really file anything, but we sent out demand letters and waiting on responses.
Okay, so as for this strike, what can we as citizens do that may not work for Amazon to support you?
I've been saying this in a lot of interviews already, but as a consumer, if you want to practice real social distancing, stop clicking, stop clicking the one-click lie. Stop clicking the button. You might save lives. Stop clicking the button. Amazon is not a necessity. It's a fairly new company. It grew and evolved into what it is. We helped do that. We would, I remember growing up, going to the grocery stores. Society kind of forgot about that. We have that luxury to hit the click button and we have a package deliver, but you're putting several people at risk, including yourself. This virus does live on cardboard for a number of days. You have to take that all into consideration. So if I was you, I would boycott.
Yeah. And it's so complicated because they've become a monopoly. I mean, they have servers, for instance, where people house their websites. And I mean, it's crazy to see how much this company is finding a way to penetrate every aspect of our life. Television shows, I mean, we know what the jam is, but the least that people can do is not order their supplies and goods that, many are relying on right now from Amazon. You can go directly to the distributor. You can go directly to, through another company, even corporation, if you want to go that route. Like, we ordered our water purifier just recently. We were trying to find it. We went right to the source. We went to the company and
Right.
we're like, oh, I guess you can do this. So
Right.
I know it sounds silly, but this stuff makes a big difference. And they should be, at least until they pay till they pay fair wages and protect their workers. I mean, this is unfortunate. It's inhumane. It's not something that's reflective of New York City or the society that we live in. And I'm really glad that you had the courage to speak out and stand up and talk to your fellow workers. And, you're continuing to organize because it really, it takes someone like you who has that courage, but you're one person, and look at the effect you've had, just in the last month on pushing back and exposing Jeff Bezos. So I thank you. I think, your fellow workers, thank you. And listen, if it means he's going to pay some more taxes, maybe that's
Right.
the concession here.
That's what you're working for. I think that should be an option as well. Definitely.
Yeah. Chris, is there anything else you want to add? I know you got to get to work organizing people across the world. This is amazing.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah, I think we covered everything, and I appreciate the time and giving us a voice because I'm speaking up for the voiceless right now. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. You can support the Nomiki Show on YouTube by clicking subscribe, like, and sharing. Because as you guys know, now more than ever, we have to support our independent media. We are being attacked from every angle and everyone's watching CNN every night. So it's important that we take care of the good guys fighting the fight. You can also join us on Patreon for special content and interviews. We also have swag like these new mugs, starting as low as $5 a month, which is, basically what an iced coffee is in Manhattan when we had iced coffee shops open. You can go to patreon.com/The Nomiki Show.